I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I call the meeting to order, and I move we adopt the agenda as mailed.
Second.
Dave Williams,
I do have to respond.
Aye.
Okay.
Parsons,
Aye.
Litton,
Aye.
Heppenstall,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Bowen.
Aye.
I was trying to catch them. That didn't work. Sorry.
All right, we're gonna do them here, okay, so no delegation, we do have, sorry, correspondence.
All right, this letter was sent to me from Senator Moran. You know, he visited the other day, and the high school kids did a great job, Ms. Jenkins, Mrs. Smith, getting that organized. He's here about 45 minutes, took a tour of the high school, a little bit of the middle school, a little bit of the elementary, couldn't get it all in. He liked to talk and converse with people, which was great, but he sent this note to us. It says, "Dear Ted, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to visit Osage City High School. It was great to speak with and listen to the concerns of your students. I appreciate their thoughtful questions and insight. The conversations I've had with Kansas during my travels greatly impacts the work I do in Washington, D.C. I look forward to continuing to work with educators like you to ensure a bright future for the youth of our state. Ted, I appreciate your hospitality and kindness. Thanks for the good work you do in Osage City. Best wishes for continued success. Please let me know when I can be of service." And then he just wrote a little personal note, said, "The visit gives me hope for the future," and signed Jerry Murray. So the kids did a great job. You should be very proud of how they represented themselves, their families, our community, our school district. It was impressive how they interacted with him and showed him around. So it was great to
awesome.
see. So thanks to Natasha and Shannon for making that happen. So.
Excellent. All right, any questions on the treasurer's report? Anything? All right. I move that we adopt the minutes of the JBCC non-residential hearing meeting of November 8, 2023, to adopt the minutes of the regular board meeting of November 8, 2023, approve the treasurer's report November 30th, 2023, replenish the petty cash for the elementary school, $68.97, middle school, $63.51, high school, $200, and the payment of the bills to be allowed in the amount of $273,727.34 for December 13th, 2023, and the November 23 payroll in the amount of $512,453.59.
Second.
Litton,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Parsons,
Aye.
Bowen,
Aye.
Heppenstall,
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye. All right, Mr. Smith's here with some kids to talk about Ag Science Club, giving a little bit about Ag, just an update and a request for part of the board's role is approving clubs that are doing, that are going to be in the school, so you're aware of that, but it is part of the board's role to do that. So here's with some students tonight, and they're going to present kind of what's going on with Ag and talk about creating an Ag Science Club.
Well, first thing I would just want to say thank you to the board for giving me the opportunity to start teaching this ag class and try to get an ag program going here in Osage City again. It's been 20-some years since we've had ag program in FFA, and when I saw the posting of the position, I got really excited and saw the opportunity that I could maybe take a role in getting that going. So one of the things that I stumbled into as I worked my way through the semester is discovered that the local FFA district has recently voted to allow schools that are developing ag programs, haven't completed that yet, to start participating in their FFA activities without having a full FFA chapter. So discovered that, took advantage of the opportunity in November, took a few of the students to a welding competition in Paola. I felt confident that I could take no credit or blame for their welding skills because I did not teach them anything. But these kids were self-taught at home. We did have one student, Cole Thompson, who's a VOTEC welding student, but they're self-taught at home with parents and grandparents, and And they went and they represented themselves pretty well, represented their school pretty well, and Cameron came out from that competition with the first place finish in the beginners division. But I wanted to have them come and share a little bit about their experience, because they took a little bit different takeaway from that than I did. So.
Hi, my name is Brody Thompson, and one thing that I realized from like the ag thing with the welding is the welding was not the biggest thing there. It was more of being with the students, being with everyone there, and I talked to multiple people. Like one time I messed up a weld, and I like the guy during the mid-competition, one kid came up to me and was like, taught me how to do the weld, which that was fully cheating, but like everyone there was nice, understood like what was happening, and then one time, then after that weld I messed up, which I kind of cheated, but I went and asked the instructor, like, hey, like, what did I do wrong here? And he spent like 20 minutes with me, like, teaching me, like, how to do this and, like, what I did wrong and teaching me, like, how to better myself as a welder. And then when I walked around, I realized that then there's, like, so when I had the kid help me, then there was just all around, I met some kids I knew from a different school, and then they helped me out with some other things, like with the test part. And then afterwards, when we're waiting on rewards, like just everything was just like a scene of everyone being nice, like where like our place was supposed to be.
I'm Cameron Sildenberg. When we went to that competition, it really just showed me what else was out there. Because I'm not super interested in sports myself, but I like the idea of competition. So, I mean, that really, I fit in real well there, I think, so.
All right. So, and it was a good experience for me. So my takeaway was seeing the kids doing the competition. The instructors and the advisors, we couldn't be involved at all. So it was almost a mini PD session for me, visiting with other ag teachers and getting ideas for how we can work and building the program a little bit better. So what wasn't in my idea to start looking for this yet, but after that experience and realizing and getting a calendar of everything that's out there, even for the rest of this school year, there's so many opportunities that I think we can get more kids that aren't in my class the opportunity to come and explore some of this stuff. So I've got Jayden Bossy here, who I believe you got a letter from her. But she would like to just talk a little bit about that request. And
Hi, I'm Jayden Bossy, and I wrote a letter to you, and in that letter it had these 6 points. But the one point I really wanted to capitalize on is that this would be opening up more opportunities for more students. As Cameron mentioned earlier, not a lot of students are interested in sports, and then there are also students like me who don't have the time in their class schedules for the class. And it's really important for them to still learn about these things and introduce them to new things. And in this ag class, in the ag class, I didn't have time for it, and I think it's important it's important for people to be introduced to these new things because they can find passion in those things, and they could potentially go into a career in that field. And those careers are very necessary to help keep the world running. So that's all.
so there's a number of different benefits that our kids can take from, once we are able to get a full FFA membership, from different scholarships, awards, career development experiences, like the ag welding or like the welding competition, and in various ag-related careers, conferences, and so forth. What I would like to do is to set up the Ag Science Club to go along with the Ag Science class that we offer. We're currently offering Intro to Agricultural Science. We would need to develop that into an agricultural pathway, which was what the original, as we talked about putting it together when we started, to get that CTE pathway added to our curriculum program. We've got some work to do to get that going. We've got 3 more courses to get built. We can offer those on an alternating schedule as we can fit them into my schedule with available blocks. And once we get that developed and we get that pathway approved, then we can apply for the chapter, an FFA chapter again. And I would like to set up, if we approve moving forward to start the club, I would like to set it up step 1 right when we hit the ground after first of the year, get a membership drive going, get kids who want to be involved. And then I would like to format this club along the guidelines for developing an FFA chapter, so that as soon as we are able to get a pathway established and get that approved, we've got paperwork finished, we've got constitutions written, we've got all that stuff, we can get that finalized and get that going as quickly as possible. And then let's start getting these kids going to these activities. I've highlighted a few. There's one in late January, but a couple in February and in April. These are ones that offer 3 or 4 different concepts in one location, one trip, to maximize opportunity for different, to maximize kids' interest.
I share that with them.
And so that's something that I would like to get them doing. There's other stuff as well, but these are the ones I wanted to highlight because I think it maximize their opportunity. So that's what I would like to do, getting started. And so our request from the board here today is to give us the approval to go ahead and get started with this Ag Science Club, with the hopes of transitioning that into an FFA.
By having the club, it allows you to participate in those activities.
Yes, and that was the
Explain
decision.
that.
Yeah, that was the decision made by the East Central District. So actually, right now, there's no additional cost for with adding the club to participate. The one fee that allowed the class to participate covers all the students that would be in the club as well. So that would be no additional initial cost in starting, in getting kids right now to participate. We've already covered that, so.
How many students do you have that are interested in the program? Or
In the club.
in the club, just in the club? How many do you think you have interested right now? If you could ballpark it.
If I could ballpark it, I would say probably, and it is, so I've got 14 in the class right now, probably another 15 to 20.
Okay.
That would, I think, would be interested in the club. And it is a club. FFA has a middle school extension that in the Green Hands program. So once we get the full FFA chapter going, it could expand into a middle school and bring in, I know we've got a lot of kids involved in the 4-H program that I believe would feed right into the school FFA program. So.
Any other questions? Okay, I move that we support adding the high school ag science club.
I second it.
Oh, listen to that. Jumping into second, that's
What was
awesome.
that, Todd?
Dave gets it, man.
Dave. That's
Congrats on your last meeting. You got a second.
Heppenstall,
Aye.
Bowen,
Aye.
Linton,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Bellinger,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Parsons.
Thank you guys for speaking, and I appreciate it. And this is so exciting for our school and definitely a need, so thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Good job, guys.
I just want you all to know that Cameron was my #1 worker when we remodeled KB's. The 7 days, he was the youngest and worked harder than any of them, so,
Not surprised.
yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you later.
I know.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. All right, accounting.
So I've been talking about our fund accounting system. The one we currently have in place is basically going to go away from Greenbush support. They're not updating security measures in the future. They're pretty much done. And so Greenbush is recommending that districts look for new fund accounting systems that have used what we currently use. So I was part of a group with Greenbush and reviewing some fund accounting systems that were out there. Just to kind of be in the loop of what's going on. It's very important to Patty and Pam that they have the support of Greenbush, can make a phone call if they're having issues with the program and things of that nature. So, and so I was one other superintendent that was in part of that. So after that, they narrowed it down to 2, so we narrowed it down to 2. So we had them come and do a little demo for Patty and Pam, and some other districts came and witnessed that as well. And to preview those, ask questions, really, so they can do it because I can't ask all the questions they would like answered. So, but from those 2 demos that we had, we're going to recommend the fund accounting system called Software Unlimited. I used this in my previous district. It's very user friendly. There's many components to that, as you can see, as part of the quote that we have. When you look at just in general, the SAS, which is the fund accounting system as it is, that's the beef of the program. Human resources or WebLink is that portal that employees and myself as an administrator can access the main fund accounting system. As being partnered with Greenbush, that's not going to be no cost to districts that sign up for Software Unlimited for us as we do that. So that's in that. So Another piece of this will be human resources, just that those day-to-day things that we have to have and provide information from we can do that from the district office, and employees can have access to that information. So they're really in tune, and we can provide documents, their tax forms, their paychecks, everything can come through this web link, and the human resources is all connected together through the program. So the next part of this is negotiations. Sorry, Todd, but your calculator's going to go away. But this will allow us to do scenarios.
It had a good life. It had a good life. It had a good run.
But this will allow us to do scenarios based on recommendations we can do. So this is how much, if we do this percent, it can show what that is, different parts of that, health insurance. So we have real numbers based on what's in there. And once it all gets finalized and approved, then we can just basically import it into the new system and we're ready to go. There's not a lot of different entering that has to happen, but we felt like it would be a valuable tool just for clarity, one, those real numbers are real and we can break those down for us. So we're going to do that module as well. And then the last one is the fixed asset inventory. We do this basically by paper right now. So Pam has it on sheet, she sends it in, staff goes through it, but now we'll be able to do this all through online. We can open up the window, staff can go update any inventory they have in the rooms, and if they get new or whatever, but it's all on there. And we can if we ever need it for insurance purposes or whatever, it's right there, not on a bunch of piece of paper that, in a folder. So it'll be done digitally to do that. So you can see the one-time fee for conversions. We're looking to go live in October and November of next year. As part of this process, we'll start the conversion over, and then Patty and Pam as the main users will have to go to a 3-day training. And once they have the training, then that next day they're going to go live. So we think October, November is kind of we've got, the first payroll is kind of out of the way, negotiations done. We think it's just a good transition time to do that as part of this transition. But there's no contract here. It's just an annual fee. If we choose to not go with them next year, then we go somewhere else or whatever. So there's no contract that's part of that. So the cost you see at the bottom of the annual fees, they put in, it's just an estimate of what their percent raise or percent increase is going to be. But they won't go over that for sure. But it might not be that much as we go into it each year. But it's basically a 1-year contract. If we don't like it, we can get out at any time. So I'm recommending that we move to Software Unlimited for our fund accounting system with the intent to go live in October and November of next school year. Any questions?
So just to understand this correct, it's the 8430 plus the 687 for
Year one.
year one
Yes,
for that?
yeah.
Okay.
Because that'll be prorated in there basically October, November. Yes, exactly.
And then after that, will we have to then approve a renewal?
Not necessarily, because it'd only be around 10,000 every year. So, I mean, we could do that,
You could do that in,
but I know it's a big ticket item now, but
as long as it's
yeah. I'll
Doing
keep
what it's
you-
supposed to do. And
doing
Yeah.
what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, and we'll give you a heads up on it, but you won't have to do it every year because it's not over the 20,000, but we'll keep you in the loop of that. But that one-time fee goes away, and then you just have the regular fee after that first year. Good
Have an
question.
accounting service now that we pay for?
You get the map system through Greenbush, and we pay a fee. This is just a hair less. It's,
on
yeah,
par with-
yeah, it's where we're at. It's
okay.
nothing. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was a new expense we'd be having.
No,
actually
good
sounds
question.
a
It
little
should be
less.
about the same as we go through. The other one we would have had would have been a little more that we reviewed, but this one, it really, it was user-friendly for me in my previous district, and I know I think it'll be good for Patty and Pam, and the staff will have more access to it.
That's what I was just gonna say.
We can eliminate some of these staff portal things and all that can be provided through the web link, and all that information could be on there. It's an individual sign-on, so each teacher will have their own individual sign-on. They can access their information. They'll make leave requests through there. They'll know how much leave they have. All that'll be readily available to them at all times as we, have it set up and do that.
How do they
So
do that now? The leave requests and all that stuff? Just-
I manually do it. I enter it in to our software system that we currently have.
that we have a Google Sheet, and they make the request, and then they keep track of it. But we'll be able to do that all through the Software Unlimited.
Sounds like a good move.
It's really robust in what we could do. If a person's sick, you can sign up, I need a sub, and that would go through just kind of the same process, but that information will go to the sub-coordinators in the buildings and the principals will be aware of that, and all approvals will go through there. All requisitions will be paperless from now on. There will be no need to have paper for requisitions, and they'll just do approvals through the system. Right now, we signed some papers. I signed a stack at every board meeting about that tall, and that will basically be eliminated. So we could have, as down the road, we could look to convert all that into our system, get rid of all that paper, but that's down the road. We want to get using it first, but it should be more user-friendly for everyone, so.
Do you know if they'd be interested in locking us in at like 10,000 if we say we'll do it for 3 years?
With the year to year, they're kind of seeing how many are coming on board before they start looking in those 3-year, 5-year contract type things. So right now, I think there's 18 districts coming on with them, so, which will help because they'll be doing that conversion from the MAP software that we currently use. Yeah. And so they'll have some experience to do that, but they'll be looking at down the road, the 3-year to 5-year contracts is what they explained to me.
Yeah, it's just whatever it says, subject to change.
Yeah, but that's the top number. They won't go over that number that's on that paper for what the cost will be for us, so.
All right, I move that we purchase the new accounting system through Software Unlimited.
Second.
Peterson,
Aye.
Parsons,
Aye.
Bellinger,
Aye.
Effenstall,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Bowen,
Aye.
Linton.
Aye.
Right, the shooting shirts.
Yeah, so I talked to you about this last month. We finally got the final number. Conklin's donated funds to purchase shooting shirts for the girls' teams. And so between the middle school and the high school, the total was $1,180 for their donation. So they paid us, and then the district paid the bill for that. So again, it will go towards their gifts. And so each kid can't have over $50 in gifts given to them every year. So just make sure we're following the rules. We're going through this process to do that. We don't jeopardize anything on that. So moving to accept the donation from Conklin Plumbing.
Somebody want to do it?
So moved. So moved.
I'll second.
Just a little.
Bowen,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Effenstall,
Aye.
Linton,
Aye.
Bellinger,
Aye.
Parsons.
Aye.
All right, HVAC, one of our favorite topics.
Yeah. So yesterday, the State Board of Ed gave us full approval on the updating our ESSER 3 changes that we made. And so included in that is this high school unit, HVAC unit going over the high school classroom. So you can see a group of different things with the master service agreement. Basically, what that says is that DCS will basically manage this project for us. I don't have to do that. We're hiring them to manage all the contractors and everything. They've done the bid process. They do that. But basically what that is that they're going to take care of that and sign off for it on that. The work order is just that, what the work's expected to be done for this air handling unit, and then the scope of the project to go through that is also included. The bid tab, which was put out, we put it out to bid and received the bids, is included in that, and then the overall cost for the HVAC unit. Again, this is all going to be taken care of ESSER. We're going to have to, we don't know where all our numbers are going to finalize an ESSER with summer school and after school tutoring. There might be a little bit, we can make sure it's taking care of this project. So, but we won't know those numbers till the end. So we have to have ESSER 3. Remember, we just have everything expended by December of 24, a year from today. So this project will be done this summer. We can have all that out of the way, and we can finalize with whatever we need to clean up with ESSER to make sure we're utilizing that money mainly with salaries related to after school and summer and that. So.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Are we factoring in any kind of maintenance for this unit through that? Can we add on like a maintenance plan?
I could check into that. We haven't talked about that. I think just general maintenance typically we do for any unit. You know, if it's something local can take care of, we try to call local, but if it's a bigger project, McElroy's is involved, so they're kind of close too, so they'd do that. But I can look into a maintenance agreement.
Yeah, I just didn't know. Some of these newer units are a little bit more difficult, and that you can get on like a 3-year or 5-year maintenance plan, and if that can be added into
I can check into that.
Some of
Good
it,
thought.
that might not hurt to check on.
Yeah, I will. I'll definitely do that. It's a very similar system. It's just an updated system to what's in there. It's gonna basically fit. There's not gonna need to be any cutting out of what's up there because we're basically replacing it with the same updated unit that meets the standards for ESSER. So, but I'll look into that agreement. So you'll be approving the package as presented to you that in the explanations there.
Excellent. I move that we, as recommended.
Second.
Thank you.
Linton,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Heppenstall.
Aye.
Bellinger. Parsons.
Aye.
Bowen,
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
All right, Three Lakes, Todd.
Yeah, we had a pretty short meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for January 11th, which will be the day after our January meeting. We had 2 of our board members that are leaving the board, so we'll be waiting on we'll hopefully have some people appointed that will show up the next night for a board meeting. We have only 6 people, so with 2 out, if any of the rest of us happen to be sick, then we don't have a majority or a quorum. So we run a little tighter there. We did a few policy updates this round. I just kind of looked over the financial reports as normal, and then we did approve a paraeducator level 2 job description that will be applying across, seeing who fits into it and getting that out there. But that, I think, will help us also in some of our recruiting with our change in the salary schedule. From what I understand, the applications coming in now, they are busy with applications, which is something we haven't seen for a long time, and the numbers of open positions are starting to get smaller and smaller. We actually this time had more hires than we had people leave, which
Net positive.
yeah,
Good.
usually it's either a negative or a break even at best, and it was nice to see a long list coming in and a short list going out this time. So that's it for now. And I won't have an update for the January meeting.
All right, building reports.
Well, any questions for Dean or Tim before Natasha kind of talks about her trips stuff on their reports? You have the SRO report as well from Felix to give you an update on that information, but so far in the semester that's done.
You guys are horribly busy all the time.
Yeah, it's a good way to describe it, horribly busy.
To say the least, I'm sure.
So if there's no questions for Dean or Tim, I'll give you some information about Natasha and trips and just fundraisers in general. And I know it's been a kind of a topic of the board for a few conversations that we've had. So Natasha's here looking for some guidance on trips and fundraisers, kind of tell you what she's done, and then just getting some guidance from you and feedback is just to help her move forward. So I'll turn it over to her.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so when I came on board last year, I felt like, I hit the ground running and there was just like a ton of fundraising going on. I didn't know who was fundraising, when they were fundraising, when those things were taking place. So what I did at the end of last school year is I just sent out a spreadsheet, and I just said, okay, I feel like there's a lot, I listen to community members when they come talk to me, and they said, we just feel like there's a lot of fundraising going on. So I kind of said, let's limit it to 2 per group, per organization. I spoke with Ted. He said that that's kind of what they had previously done at his school, and other schools do that. So I asked my staff to go in and basically say, like, okay, what is your fundraiser gonna be, for the next school year? Who are you gonna go through? What are you gonna do? And then what item are you specifically fundraising for? From my understanding, there has always been this unwritten rule somewhere that the fundraising needs to go back to the students. So, trying to go back towards, okay, making sure that if we're fundraising, that this money is going back towards them. And then the other thing is, you know, the date and time frame. When are you thinking about doing this? Because we don't want multiple groups and organizations fundraising all at one time, basically. So then that leads us to the trip situation. I think Ms. Dunbar kind of felt like, and she's here if you guys have questions for her, but I think she kind of felt like in the past when she has presented this, you know, she got permission from the board to have trips, you know, for the rest of the time being, not knowing if she needed to come approve every trip or not. So kind of in limbo of new employees and you know, myself and new teachers, and I first have to say, I love that these teachers are willing to take these students on these opportunities. I absolutely think it's amazing that our kids have these opportunities. I think that the experience that they gain from traveling is absolutely wonderful. But I feel like when we have 4 groups or 4 organizations who are trying to hold, you know, trying to have that many trips in 1 year is just a lot. It's a lot to oversee. It's a lot to, you know, manage, especially in addition to everything else that we are providing opportunities at the high school level. So I'm just looking for some guidance on, you know, moving forward. I mean, do we want to offer, you know, 4 trips to be taken in 1 year, or do we want to, you know, try to space them out as much as possible? I know when I went to school here, band has taken a trip for as long as I can, you know, they've taken one like every 2 years for as long as I can remember. Choir, I think that they have taken a trip. I think I did take a trip when I went to high school here, one out of my 4 years for choir, and but I don't know the last time that they have taken a trip. I know Life Sciences, they have taken 2 trips. They've went to Costa Rica, and they've also went to Yellowstone, and then Spanish Club as well. They've taken a trip to Europe. So I'm just trying to do my best to make it fair and, you know, equal. But then, of course, when you make people unhappy, sometimes their first answer is, I'm going to go to the board. So for me, I just want to be open and transparent, and you know, this is kind of what I'm trying to do for our kids. I think their opportunities are great, but we're needing some guidance on how we want to proceed with this moving forward.
So you started the conversation by talking about fundraising.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate the simmer down on the fundraising, because it was getting a little out of hand in my opinion. But so my question is, for these trips, are they all student paid / by fundraising, or you fundraise and then the balance you have to pay, or is each group different, or?
From my understanding, and Mrs. Dunbar, but I think that by fundraising and their student and their parents paying them, that's how they get to go.
This is how they get it, because, I mean, how else would they have the funds? We're not as a school district, obviously, but I'm just making sure
I don't know what they've done for band in the past. For band
In the
trips.
band, I think it's been Band Booster makes a big.
Band boosters.
Band Booster has helped with that.
They have their chili feed in the football season, and I think during basketball season, they raise money that way, I believe, as well. Okay, so really, the trip, so I would say the Belize and the Peru trip, I wouldn't count in the same year, even though they're technically maybe kind of in the same school year.
Right.
But they're literally a summer apart from each other.
Well, and that date has changed. So kind of what happened with this Belize trip is that we had, you know, I said, if we could go in 2024, since Peru is already going in 2025, that would be great. It would kind of space that out a little bit.
Got it. Yes.
And then I think what happened was they weren't able to get enough students to go, so they wanted to push it back to 2025.
Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, you had said that. And okay, got it. So it would actually end up being the same.
Correct.
Because you don't have the counts to do it this year.
So initially, the group that was gonna go, in the summer, I had approximately anywhere from 10 to 13 students that were interested in and somewhat committed to going. And then when Ms. Jenkins and I talked, and we kind of talked about, okay, let's try to spread this out a little bit, we moved it to 2024. Partly, and I fully support the fundraising, that you're absolutely right in what you're doing there. But because that limited our fundraising, it gave them 10 months essentially to fundraise for that trip, and it really drastically dropped. Like I had several students who relied on that fundraising in order to be able to go on the trip. So they, huge interest still in going, they just couldn't make it happen in that.
In the short time. Okay, thank you.
Now,
I got it, thank you.
They're still interested in going, with the movement, if we would move it, we still have, I think we can still make the trip go. I have to have 9 to get the trip to go.
Oh, okay.
I suggested 2026. Cause we've got 2025.
Right, even if I think about international versus, say, in the States, if those can be altering to where it's like, okay, you only have one international trip per year. I agree, there's a lot of fundraising going on, I love the opportunity,
Right.
but I think 2 per year is sufficient. I do think we're offering quite a bit as a high school to kids in comparison to other school districts. So I love the idea of offering things.
So Kat, would you suggest, are you, internationally, every other year, domestic?
Yeah, it could be like
Off year or
domestic together.
Got
Yeah,
it.
like
Yeah.
two, like, you know, just, if you get more than two, I think it puts a burden on the community, just for that fundraising component. It's obviously great opportunities, but I agree with Natasha, we could limit that so we don't put that burden out there, because people want to help, but it's tough. It's tough, but we kind of put them in a precarious position to do that if we keep throwing all these things out, if we don't manage it in some way, shape, or form, so.
And because I think the reason I was asking for clarification, because as a community member, I don't, a choir obviously is kind of, we haven't experienced it because they haven't had it in a while. But when the band has come to us, even since I've been on the board for the trip, because they have the band booster and something in that sort, it, as a community, I don't think of it
As extra.
as extra. It just seemed like that was just kind of what they do, but I mean, it is.
Right.
But maybe it's more, I don't know, just kind of the way of life. The band's always had a mass chili fee, and they've always done that, you know, I don't know. But I agree, I think for sure that, I know where I grew up internationally, we only did every other year, and it was for the same reasons, for the parents, for the people having to pay for it and everything, but I agree.
So from an approval process, do we have like a standard set of information that we gather on each of these trips regarding insurance, transportation?
They usually provide it.
And
I mean,
I know they normally do, but do we have something kind of standardized that we as a board could give Ted the authority to say, hey, if you get the information here and it looks right to you, we're okay.
Good idea, yep.
And then it also gives us the opportunity, if there's something going on crazy in the world that we.
I could see that if the school was actually donating
Giving
or
the money.
covering, parting that we would be, but this is really just that fundraising with students that we have is where that is coming in, but I don't know that you're directly.
Trip itself.
Yeah, but that's why you're not directly approving the trip, you're just, really giving guidance about how many, that we can have with our kids to not overwhelm the community, in my opinion of that.
Okay, all right.
So you're not, I think it's happened in the past, you've kind of approved those trips, but
Okay.
because it involves our students, but it's really just that fundraising piece with that, utilizing our students. We can get that information, so you're just aware of that, so we don't put our kids in, but Chandra has that, she shares all that stuff with us, we know it's, yeah.
I didn't, and I thought we at one point were talking about do we need board approval for these trips?
Yeah.
Because I think where we started, and so that's
Yeah.
where I was going with that.
It's the fundraising that we're talking about, and that just, just the management of that, and that's what she's trying to manage here in this, as that, not necessarily because we're not using district funds
Okay.
to help with.
We really don't care about the schedule of the trip then, all we care about is the fundraising and how that schedule affects the fundraising.
Right.
Okay.
That's the kind of what it is, to give the guidance here for that, so.
So if we did do every other year, and if our life science and our Spanish club teachers are the ones that are most likely gonna be going internationally, if you go every other year, that allows a student who is in
Sure.
4-year to not miss it. I'm just thinking, like, I'm Spanish and I really wanna go to a Spanish immersion, and I'm a student, but, I was in 8th grade the year they went, and they're not gonna go until I'm in college. At least if you do every other year that they're in.
Yeah, and that's, Natasha wants to give them that experience
Yeah.
within that 4-year period, so.
I just was thinking out loud.
One thing I gotta say about it is some of these fundraisers that we do, we never saw money come back from it, like last year. Spent quite a bit of money, was supposed to get coats, never received coats.
Do you know how much popcorn I bought?
That is the point, I think, that, you know, family members, grandparents that give that money and they never see it, I think that's one of the biggest things that bothers them. So, I mean, and then that popcorn, I just got an email to do it again, and we don't even have anything set up for it. So
That popcorn was for sale. We need to talk about. TJ Maxx had that same popcorn all year long. I got it for $14, what I spent $75 on.
Right.
I'm not joking.
And that money, all the money doesn't go to the kids. They take their portion, so the athletes only get a certain small percentage.
Right.
So stuff like that is what
It frustrates the community,
Yeah.
as you can tell from personal experience. My parents sent that
hears it. She
$100
hears it.
and never even got it.
She hears that.
It never showed up.
Well, I would say in regards to that is that the coach or the person in charge of the club that's doing the fundraiser, they need to have accountability for the items that that needs to go to, say, the athletic director, maybe the club person goes to you to show, you know, an itemized list of, okay, we brought this in, that money goes for this, and basically to show, you know, paper trail of.
That's what we talked about. It's like raising this money for what? Not just to have just in case, like if it's for coats, that's where it needs to go. And that, you know, that's part of why she's doing this, so it shows what this is supposed to take care of. Because again, it's not an unwritten rule. I'm not trying to, but it's policy that fundraising goes to the kids. It's back to the kids to use that. And the kids decide what they want to do with that. And working with the sponsor or coach to do that, but those are the things he's trying, so we don't, what happened with that. And we appreciate the feedback, so it's not just her coming and telling people that, you know,
And
that's why we're having this conversation.
Put out, like, hey, the baseball team, I mean, are all these accounts to where everybody can see how much they got in there? So, like, for instance, if I'm gonna use football for example, you have a fundraiser, it makes $20-some thousand.
Right.
And you have a $20,000 carryover, you know, I know that football, they spend it on a lot of expensive items.
Right.
But where's that balance at? Nobody sees that in the community of where those balances are when the fundraising happens.
Yeah.
So.
And that's for her to manage the activity accounts as it goes through that and having those conversations, working with us, and we'll do that. And the new fund accounting system will help with that.
And Tyler, the board has access to all those accounts in your petty cash and activity fund tab?
It's, there's actually, I look at that actually.
Yeah.
So
But it's not like an itemized bill list of.
Request balances and stuff, so.
It's public knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, we see in the bills, we'll get like, say, you know, they spent $10,000 on reconditioning football helmets, but we don't see how that correlates to the.
Is that fundraising? Is that what yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff, but.
I can't believe the popcorn thing came up again this year after
With
last
that
year.
specific situation, a conversation was had, and we did order some, I think, coats and jackets this year, so.
So will my son from last year get it? Just kidding, he doesn't want it. I'm telling you, this subject fires me up. When I saw those damn popcorn bags for $15 at TJ Maxx that I literally spent $75 on, I cannot believe we're doing it again. I think it needs to stop. I mean, but
The reason I brought it up is.
I am shocked.
I had seniors from last year that their parents spent good money and then they never got it, and that's, I mean, I've had.
And whose grandparents each spent $100 at least, and I cannot believe we're doing that fundraiser again. It is, and none of these fundraisers have ever bothered me. That one is the worst.
Yeah, sure.
Because I can see that the cross country, they go on their trip. I can see that those baseball players got nothing they were promised every single year.
In terms of gifts, I could see, you know, in regards to like the shooting shirts, et cetera. And if groups are limited and teams are limited to a certain amount of fundraisers, what is our gift policy? I know you kind of mentioned it in passing, but I think that needs to be brought more to everyone's attention, because you could have someone say, well, hey, I'll give you $500.
Yeah.
You know,
But that,
as a gift, if I could do that, you know.
but each kid's limited to $50.
Outside of the fundraising.
They're limited to $50 a year in gifts as it relates to that. So
Per organization,
no, per
team?
for the year, I don't know, I have to double check that. I think it's for
Per
the
player, per person?
I think it's the year, but I don't know, I'll double check that. But if you designate, like if let's say we get these shooting shirts and if they were just gonna stay with the team and not be personalized or whatever, they just become part of that uniform, that wouldn't be considered a gift. And that would just stay with the program and they'd have them every year, the kids wouldn't get it. But once you personalize them, then they become that gift. So, you know, but the kids would have to say it's okay for us to raise this money for them to be used for years to come as an addition to the uniform or whatever.
So it's gotta be per player, because middle school basketball, for example, has 30-something kids and they each have one.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's 50 per kid, but I don't know if it's a school year or do you know, Tim, if it's?
Or per season or per school year?
School year, so.
See, I think that needs to be kind of communicated also, because you could have a grandparent that, you know, says, hey, I'll give you $100. You know, as a gift.
I would have rather have given $100 straight to the freaking program.
Outside of a fundraising.
Outside of the fund, because if they can only fundraise 2 times, that fundraiser may fall flat. And so then you may have a parent or anybody that says, hey, we want to give you this money, but if they technically can't, if it falls outside of the gift amount that you can provide, they may not be able to give $1,000 to, you know, the golf.
I say don't put strong arms giving to our kids. I would just be really leery. I'm like, if there are people wanting to help our kids, I don't want to say, sorry, you can't, because.
And then like cross country trip, I know they got a grant.
Right, you just have to.
Yeah.
They got a grant from that bank in Emporia. Is that also constitute as a gift?
Yeah, no, that's
Or is
more of an
grant
activity.
different than a gift?
Yeah, there's definitions, and I can get that, I'll get that information, Corey.
You know, because I see that as I'm just looking at, if they have 2 fundraisers and they feel that they need more opportunity, a creative teacher, coach, person will look at other avenues. Hey, I can, you know, contact this organization, and hey, if they want, if they'll give us a grant for $500 towards this club or trip or activity, I would be doing that myself. But is that something that we approve or would be okay with?
Yeah, if it stays with the team, but if you give it to a kid, that's where the technicality is.
Difference between donating to an organization and donating to or giving to an individual.
And those fundraisers should specifically say, this is what we're raising this money towards. And
Making
that's
sure it
what
gets
it's-
followed
and that-
through.
and based on what the kids want.
Yeah.
So that's how it's supposed to work.
Or like, is it considered a sponsorship? You know, if you have a bank that wants to sponsor an activity, a trip, a students. To do that, is that legal?
I don't know.
I'll
get the wording on it.
I mean, to me, there's a lot of different layers to this.
Sure.
Outside of fundraising, of ways to get money from anywhere, so.
I'm so deflated,
back to
the popcorn.
Sorry.
Did we answer your question?
Did we get back to
back
it?
to the trips, what I'm hearing and what I feel like you guys would be in support of is having 2 trips per year with an international trip every other year. Is that what I'm hearing? Sorry.
A maximum of 2 trips.
I'm back to, I didn't think that was what I thought we were talking fundraising, not.
We're talking trip 2.
But that includes fundraising. Those trips are fundraising.
Fundraising for those
Kinda
trips, I agree.
intertwined.
Yeah, so when you said international, that's where, I just wanna clarify, so let's say, we've got one in 24-25. Can someone take one in 25-26? You're saying it would be the 26-27. It'd be like every other for international. I was just asking because I wasn't sure which one you meant. Or
Probably.
if people have ideas or preference. I was fine having, as long as it's just one international and one domestic per year.
Per year, one international.
Right, then the
one
very
domestic
next one
per year.
could be, having two in 1 year that's international seems.
The two, just one international max, I think for sure.
Yeah, but like, other than that, in-state and stuff, that would still go on for all those trips, correct? We're not gonna cut out.
In-state.
Oh, where it's like the whole club needs
Yeah.
to go, the whole team.
Yeah, correct.
Like when cross-country went to,
Yeah, so.
that's
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
If you're, I mean,
I'm with you, yeah.
But that, it's kind of that though, that there's a part for fundraising, there's part for parents pay, where some of those are, I don't know how much they have to pay, parents do, I don't know, but it's just that large, it's just that asking for money all the time, it
Yeah.
feels like, is what we're trying to manage.
well, and I agree with that, and then there's, I mean, some parents are just gonna have to say wins win, I mean, you know.
Gotta make choices.
Yeah, choose from choices.
So is that clear as mud?
Yeah.
Per year?
Yep, 2 per year.
One international per year max.
1 international per year max, got it.
Is that school year or calendar year?
Did I say school year?
You'd have to make it,
I think so.
Until you get an August trip and a July and August,
Cause you
yeah.
got a July trip and you got a June trip.
But that, it's not gonna happen.
That was changed, so,
Oh, but it could have happened,
It
right,
could have happened.
right.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
It might be easier to say calendar year, then it covers your summer.
I think we ought to be talking dollars rather than locations.
Dollars.
You could have a domestic trip that ends up costing more than an international trip because you have more kids going or whatever.
Take the entire.
So we're talking about fundraising and not putting more burden on people. Do we need to be talking about the dollar values that we're kind of more capping dollar values than international stuff?
No, yeah.
I mean, again, I don't care. You're good with what we said. I don't have a problem with that. But I think we're hung up on stuff that we're not focused on what we're talking about.
Well, what constitutes a trip? I mean, I can understand going to Peru, but
Yeah.
if somebody wanted to go to Lawrence, as a class trip, or Kansas City, or
I don't think that counts.
City, or
But overnight trips and things,
Overnight,
yeah.
yeah.
if I think you gotta differentiate that type of stuff.
And here's why Natasha's bringing it up.
This is why Natasha's like,
Exactly, this is why I'm looking for guidance
Yeah.
and support.
Yeah.
so looking at this, Natasha, this list, I mean,
Yeah,
just scanning through it, how many would have to be cut out if we went to the 2 trips per year?
oh, looking at the trip list,
Yeah, that's what, I mean, are we cutting out, are we missing something, looking at this list?
not that I know of, but, like I said, I know choir wants to take a trip, but their dates are not set in stone.
This doesn't, like the FBLA, national competition stuff, none of that plays into this?
No.
Okay.
So Spanish Club has their trip set next summer. It would just be the life sciences that we would need to push back to 2026. Right?
And potentially the choir.
And potentially the choir,
Yes,
right?
like 24, 25 would be your Spanish club and band.
Yep.
See, and then that's when you're limiting a kid that maybe he's only in choir and he was looking forward and he's gonna graduate and don't get to go. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's-
but they don't.
I know. I'm with you, that's why I brought it up, guys.
You gotta start the rotation somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
At some point it's gotta.
And they don't want it to be just that, the teachers, Mr. Nick and Dr. John, they don't want it to be just, I'm only in band so I can go on the trip. They're trying
And
to get them to.
I agree with
Yeah,
that.
but it happens, you're right, it
Yeah.
does, oh, yeah.
And you might have a teacher who doesn't want to take a trip. So it might go away.
And you have fundraising too, you have kids fundraise, or they're expected to fundraise and not get to go on the trip, so that kid's not getting the money given back to them.
Right.
So then that draws an issue also.
And it gets costly as a parent. I mean, you take a trip, either Spanish and then science and Spanish and science, those 4 years, you're looking at like at least $5,000 every single year to go on those trips, not including your band or your choir. I mean, that's costly.
reading the what is it for?
I don't know, popcorn.
That's the problem. This is the problem. I need Coach Foot to tell me what it's for. Everybody said where they were going. Coach Foot said popcorn. Everybody else said, why are you fundraising it for? Trip expenses, pullovers, trip, uniforms, pom-poms. His answer was popcorn. I'm a little hung up on the popcorn. It's ridiculous. Popping off with a bang.
Popping off with the popcorn.
Okay, so 2 trips per year, 1 international. I guess my biggest thing too is, you know, as a principal, it's not very nice when somebody's like, well, we're just gonna go to the board, you know, when they disagree with your decision. So I guess too, when I ask for support and guidance, that support and guidance means that you guys are gonna support the decision.
Yep.
Put forth.
And a trip-
100%.
And a trip is overnight and parent expense or parent involvement in.
That's kind of why we're looking at
Payment.
that, yeah. With the-
I mean,
The
cause
student involvement.
I'm looking at, there's multiple trips listed or potential trips listed. And if they only all get 2, somebody's not gonna be happy.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, so like if you're
That's
talking
what I'm
about like, I think golf has something, cross country has something,
Yeah.
the whole team goes.
Yeah,
But is it overnight? And and do the parents help pay for it? If they don't help pay for it, then that's.
I think we're getting caught up in a little bit of
Yeah.
semantics. I
Yeah,
think
that's
these
still
are
for us.
like,
These are those
these are like
big trips.
week-long trips.
Yeah.
These aren't like, in my opinion.
But you still have to define what the trip is.
No, you don't.
Because if you don't,
But yeah, I don't think you do.
you're gonna have some overlap, and then you're gonna have some upset people, and one person's gonna say, well, my trip is just important as theirs, even if they're going for a week. I may be going for 3 days, but we're going an hour away.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree. I mean, I don't know.
You know,
Good luck.
Has there been any concerns brought up about that? Of like big trip versus little trip, or like do you
No.
need any help with that, or
no,
is that
like
been
when you
pretty-
talked about costs, we haven't had that
Yeah,
conversation.
I haven't heard anything that I can remember. There's a lot that goes on.
I think the biggest thing with these 2 programs, life sciences and Spanish, anyone can go on those trips. Like if they're in those classes, they can go on those trips, right?
They don't even have to be in the
Whereas,
classes.
right, so anyone can go on those trips. So then you have band, just the band going on those trips, or just the choir going on those trips. So that's something else to kind of consider. If you are in the band, you can still, you're not limited to go on those trips. So I think that's where another part of that comes into play too. So as far as defining trips and who can and can't go.
And how it constitutes the definition of a trip.
Right.
I mean, in that regard, I see the cross-country trip and the choir and the band trip as equal. I mean, I don't see really any difference in them, because for choir and band, the parents don't have to be involved with paying for it. You know, I mean, that's just me, but I don't see them as necessarily.
I think the band is, I think you're our,
Parents pay on the band trips.
the booster club like helps, but I don't think it does at all.
We don't cover the whole cost.
Yeah, but, I mean, I'm just saying it's their school groups, but that's just me, but.
Okay, we might have made this worse for you, sorry.
Yeah, I think,
What you read back to us,
yep, 2 trips per year, 1 international.
I think we can support that,
Okay,
from my perspective.
I appreciate that.
Me too.
And 2 fundraising programs a year per organization, is that what we're going with?
Yeah,
That's what she set the standard for this year, yeah.
2 fundraising.
Specifics, and then we want receipts as far as what we're doing.
We're trying to get
Is that
that,
what we're
we're trying to get that in control of that.
I'll work on that.
And we're
Okay.
trying to avoid the overlaps and
Yep.
things too, so it's a challenge, but she's taking it on, so.
Perfect.
With,
Down.
really happy.
Good luck.
All right, ready to go to my report?
Yes, please.
All right, I sent this information out, but just want to recognize it at a board meeting. The elementary building and the middle school building were recognized by US News and World Report as being, receiving the badge, hold on, sorry. That they are eligible to display a US News trademark Best Elementary School and Best Middle School Award badges, which we've done and put them on our website. There's ways that they rank that. They look at math and reading proficiency and math and reading performance, basically 50-50, and then they compare that to your peers in your state, not nationally, but to your state. And so we were in the top, I don't know, 30 or.
We are 148 out of 1,160.
And you were
32.
Whoa, good job, guys.
How many?
I don't know.
Okay, well, there you
You're
go.
like, let's do percentages here.
763.
763?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's very awesome.
So congrats to our staff and our leadership and the recognition for that's well earned. We're consistently above the state average, and that recognition by US News and World Report kind of validated that. So congratulations to them. Just want to we're getting some out of district requests here recently from people, and typically, from my understanding, we haven't taken out of district kids after September 20th because we don't get funding for them. But I find it hard to make those approvals right now with this whole JBCC coming, because that could throw off capacity. So basically, we've been telling people, they've been asking, to come to kind of the same thing. We're going to go to the board. Well, no, I kind of make that recommendation. So I'm going to visit with the board, just tell that we're not taking out of district kids. We're going to make them if they want to come here. And one's coming in, and one's just recently come, and another one's coming, has moved to town, bought a house. And so it's because they want to come and get out of their situation for whatever. But that's just what they're going to have to choose to do. So I just feel like with this policy we have and the procedure we have for non-resident enrollment in place, I just don't think it's something we need to do. So we're not going to be taking out of district students.
If you took them now, they would be grandfathered in.
They would,
And
based on what
they're
we
just-
said. Yeah,
They're trying to beat the.
yeah. I think some are beating the system and to do that. So again, when we come back after break, we'll start talking about capacity and going through that. We have to have that in place by March, but we just, we don't get funding for them either.
Yeah.
If they come now. So we've just been telling them no, and I just want to make that out there so you guys understand that.
Has there been any looks on capacity yet?
No, I mean, Dean has done some numbers, and Tim has his, but the high school, we're still just not sure. But we'll bring that to the table and just get feedback, and it won't be just, here's what it is, approve it. We'll have some conversations as we go through that. So, but I think those will skew the numbers if we start letting people in, so. Academic Calendar Committee, we met last Wednesday to start this conversation. We have building reps, NEA reps on that, myself and a board member, PJ, sitting in on that. Basically what I did is just carbon copy this academic calendar to what it would look like next year to start that conversation. I always call that calendar A. That's our base. That's what we start from. Presented several options and ideas about what you could do differently with the calendar, just to kind of have some conversations to do that. Basically what the committee elected to do is get feedback from the staff on two things, which is having a standard half-day dismissal time, because we have like 11:30 some days and 12:30 some other days, and if we just go to a standard half-day dismissal time, so everybody knows what that is if it's a half-day. So that was going out, and then the committee members were getting feedback on adding 15 minutes to the day, and that would shorten the number of days. And so they'll be bringing that feedback to our next meeting that we go to as we look at that. So anything to add to that, Amy?
No, nothing else.
Are we getting, when you say shortened number of days, are you talking 4-day week then?
No, I brought up 4-day week and I put the numbers to it. And if we just eliminated every Monday based on that calendar A, we'd still be about 7 days short of being able to just get to 1,116 hours, the minimum. And so you'd have to add days to the front and back. And so there's talk about, gradual, if we added 15 minutes a day, this could be this gradual progression into the 4-day week. But again, 4-day week, a lot of people are doing it to attract employees and obviously as a benefit to do that too. But again, it's not easy finding people, but we are finding them. But I don't think that's something that the committee's going to come to the table with, is a 4-day week.
The concern there is parents finding.
Sure.
Daycare for kids.
And if we get to that point, Todd, just based on the math that the spreadsheet does, we'll survey the community and everybody to get feedback on that, but I don't see that going that way just here in the near future, so.
Are there, I mean, with you,
We talked about not going that route now, but this is a step towards that, maybe down the road in a few years.
Because I even made the spreadsheet 8 to 4, at an 8 to 4 day, then we're still 7 days that we need just to get to the minimum. If we just got rid of every Monday.
Yeah.
So.
through your network, are there many districts that are going 4 days? I mean,
There's some, I think there's 75 or
71 in the state of Kansas currently.
currently, and there's some considering that.
Out of how many?
There's 385 districts. So,
It's more than I was.
20%.
yeah, so it's increasing, the trend's kind of looking at that, but they're doing it to try to attract, potential employees.
so then how do they get the minimum number of hours if you're X amount of days short?
Well, they'd have to extend their calendar. They could go anywhere from 1st of August to after Labor or Memorial Day. I mean, I don't know if that's what they have to do.
So they don't go Friday, but you go an extra few days later or earlier.
Yeah, you have to build that into your calendar. And you do some things with professional development to get some of that time counted towards student contact time, but again, I didn't get into the details of that. I just did it.
Like a half a day type of thing.
Yeah, so if we did, like I left our full professional development days that we had built in, just so those would be factored into the student contact, but it would take a big overhaul of the calendar, and that's not the direction we see that going for next year, for sure. So that was last week, so we'll get back together in January, see what the feedback was, and hopefully have a recommendation in February for a calendar to move forward on that, so that's the plan. Supplemental Index Committee, we met today, had our first meeting today, really discussed, started out with just kind of why we're having the committee, and that's really just to give feedback as we get ready to gear it up for negotiations to kind of see what that is. We want to look at defunct or non-existent positions that are listed on there, and then look at adding some ones that, are in consideration, like FFA down the road. Do we build that in now? Just some ones that, and some new supplementals that'll be in there. Looked at,
Not extra months, but.
yes, thank you. The way the contract's written, it talks about extra months, and there's a percentage tied to that. I don't know what extra months means. There's no definition of what that is, of that supplemental, like counselors, they get extra months at a certain percentage, but it's not defined how long that is in the contractor, to my knowledge. And it's kind of just, they've been doing their thing, they stay and work, but I don't know. But I'd like to convert that to extended contract, and that would be so many days. And then we would discuss, is that a percentage, is that they get the daily rate, we'll have those discussions. And ultimately, I'll make recommendations. What was the last one? Oh, and just looking at some of the indexes that aren't making sense. I made the comment, equal's not always fair, but when you look at these indexes and how they were built, and we're not trying to take away from that, but we're just having some honest conversations about what the indexes look compared to the others. It's not about the person, it's about the position. And so this is just getting more than just me saying, hey, this is what I'm recommending. I can get some feedback, put something together to bring to the table for negotiations, and teachers have been, coaches, sponsors, NEA's been involved with that. And so there's no just like, well, he's just shooting from the hip. So it's given me some feedback to do that. So they're going to talk about things, maybe talk to some people, really think about, what that could look like, and doing that. And then we'll meet again after break, and kind of might take a couple meetings to get somewhere where we can have something presented for negotiations. So.
Excellent.
But it's good conversation. I think it's good starters for both committee meetings. So early childhood updates. Haven't made much progress trying to get a hold of Shay West, the provider. She's really busy and I'm busy, so we kind of miss each other. Just really getting an idea of what the numbers could be like if we were to host a daycare, and what those potential numbers are, and then we can start putting that together with an architect based on working on this pro forma. So that's where I'm stuck at. Shay and I trying to get together. I believe she would have a better idea of what daycare numbers would be as we do that. So, but I'll keep you up to date on that as we move forward. So, new board member orientation. I met with 2 of the new board members. Still have to set the schedule for one more. Just good conversations, just basically how we go about our thing, and opportunity to ask questions, and provide them with some information so they just don't come in blind next month. But good conversations and good, and excited about them joining us next month. So lastly, Christmas break is on the horizon. Look at everybody.
The countdown, right?
Yeah. So last day is the 19th. We have a half day with kids and then a half work day to finish out the semester. So everybody's ready for it, and but just appreciate everybody. We're going to feed everybody on lunch, the one on Friday, and I'll send out an email about that. Patty asked me to do that 2 days ago, and I haven't got to it, so I have it to go out tomorrow
Mr.
morning.
Hesson.
Yeah, Tim called me, and I was like, yeah, Patty asked me to do that, and I just haven't let people know about that. So that'll go out in the morning. So, but looking for the break, and it's been a good semester. So that's my report for the
Fast.
evening. So.
All right, board member comments.
A recognition.
Oh.
Ooh, great. So we have 3 members going off who have participated. I get my fingerprints on, I feel bad. So we put these together and just says presented Kelly Bowen in recognition of 4 years of service as USD 420 school board member. So
thank you.
we just thought we'd give you a little something.
That's
and we
great.
appreciate your
How
service.
nice. Thank you. Oh, that's very nice. Oh.
And the same goes for Kat. We appreciate this. David Williams is our other member. He's not able to be here, but thanks, David. We have something for you.
That's very nice.
Thank you.
Oh, that's.
FaceTime him.
Switch it over. So, but no, thank you for your support of our students and staff, and I know it's a tough job that you don't get paid for, but we appreciate what you do and trying to do what's best for everyone. And we'll miss you guys, but we do appreciate you for all you've done. So thank you.
Thank you. Great. Now board member comments. I didn't do that on purpose. I really did skip to the bottom.
So on this, we've done this before in the past, just kind of go around the room, just some of you want shout outs or whatever, give you an opportunity. I know you don't have a lot of that, do that in the meetings, but this is that opportunity to kind of end the semester. And if you have some general comments or whatever you'd like to comment on, feel free. Want to start, Corey?
Sure. I like the app.
Oh, good.
I mean, the social media.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I think it works fairly well. I know there's probably some.
Yeah, we're still working on it. Yeah.
But it's nice.
People will get more and more used to it. So yeah, I think it's a great step in the right direction. I would like to see us post more.
Okay.
About like last night at the high school game, the readers. It would be cool to get a picture or two to throw on the front page of the website, or to make a Facebook post. Even us board members, like a group photo. Or
You can start that in January.
just
we're trying to build that.
That type of little things, like a social media post here and there.
I definitely think the high school is doing a fantastic job. There's a lot more like seeing that, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Game day things. I mean, I see Linden, Burlingame, all of my Facebook friends, and we don't really have anything that, and it's middle school and high school stuff. And I know that takes time to produce and put together, and could be students, it could be, who I don't even know who does all that stuff for other schools, but just anything like that, I think is just
keep pumping up the community. As good.
Keep showing what we're doing. About the U.S. News thing, that was great. We had a big to do about that, but just all those little tiny things here and there.
Okay.
Or even classroom stuff. I mean, if they go somewhere, group photos, all those things are fun for people to tag and, take ownership of. So.
Yeah, agreed. Get that on social media every day. Go ahead, Todd.
So I'm going to stick to comments to the 3 of you that are leaving, and for those, I guess you 3 are the only 3. I guess Corey was here too, but you guys probably led us through the most challenging time that this district has ever faced with the COVID thing, and I don't know how you made it through that, but I thank you for it. Our district is one of the best there ever has been, and it's because we've had folks like you on the board. So thank you for your service to our community and our kids.
Thank you.
Okay, mine's gonna be pretty general, so this is kind of my last opportunity to talk up here, so it's not gonna be long by any means, but just wanted to let everyone know that, you know, being on this board for 4 years now, one, I can't believe it's been 4 years.
I know.
Flew by. But I have an even higher appreciation for what goes on behind the scenes, a higher appreciation for what the admin has to go through, what the staff is going through, what the teachers are going through, and people just don't realize it. And so I just want people to have a lot of grace with us because so much is happening behind the doors. And man, do they love our district and the students and the community. It's like they do so much for us and it's often difficult and thankless. So thank you for what you do every day for us.
Very nice.
Well, Christmas, yeah, that's gonna be hard to top. We've made it this far, finish out strong for till Christmas. One thing I am gonna say to the community that's watching, just remember to go to the certain steps you need to take. If there's an issue, not always do you need to run to a school board member first. That's one of the biggest things. Take a lot of phone calls that can be handled other situations, just let everybody know that's watching. Other than that, have a happy holidays, everybody.
All right, well, I want to start off thanking admin and staff also because without you guys, our school wouldn't be as successful as it is. The US News stuff, that's amazing. That shows what kind of hard work you guys are all doing, and I appreciate that. For everyone leaving the board, congratulations. You guys have done awesome for the last 4 years. Excited to see what the next 4 years and what the next new board members have to bring to the table.
9.5 for Dave, right? Is that what it says?
Nine and a half years for Dave. Congratulations on that, Dave. That's a great accomplishment. Everything that's happened throughout your guys' tenure is definitely. I watched some of those YouTubes. I watched some of the board meetings. It definitely got heated and talked about this the other day, Kelly. It was definitely a rough time. So thank you guys for your leadership and your patience through all that. Otherwise, I'm excited to get the new board members in here, get some fresh ideas, and see what we can do to continue to make this district awesome.
Dave, do you have any final words after 9.5 years?
Well, I want to thank everybody for the opportunity to work with you all. I've been through a couple boards, and it's interesting the dynamics over the years, how things have changed. I want to commend the administration and the teachers. There have been a lot of different projects they've gone through, the accreditation processes, the changes I've seen since I started with some of the construction of the new facilities up until, going through COVID, which was just an extremely crazy time. I commend you board members that came on 3 months before COVID and had to endure things. Not only did you not have a full understanding of what being school board was on, but then we threw COVID at our lap and we had unprecedented times that nobody knew what to do with it. So I guess being naive about some things also gave you insight into others. And we came through that. I mean, I think as good as any district did through that period, and a lot of common sense was used. I commend our community for the support for our schools and our programs and everything that goes. I couldn't be more proud to serve in a district than 420. It has just been an rewarding experience for me, and I hope that other people in the community will take a look at that and grasp that opportunity to make their commitment toward the board and get involved in school board too, because it takes good members that care about this district to continue its great work that on the path that it is. So thank you for everybody, the opportunity to work with you and admin and community. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, I wrote a couple words because I want to make sure I said it. Because sometimes, I can go off on a tangent.
Oh, really?
So I know this is shocking. It's not as long as the paper makes it look. But, okay, I just want to take a minute to thank the students, teachers, staff, and superintendent of USD 420 for allowing me to serve on the board the last 4 years, and then to the community that supported me to get on the board. Needless to say, the last 4 years didn't come without challenges, starting 2 months in having to make decisions for our district concerning COVID. Not everyone agreed with what we decided, but as a board, we came together to make decisions, and I truly believe we did what was best for our students in our district. And I really think, to this day, compared to any local districts, we did an amazing job with our leadership and getting through all of that. I also believe with our strong leadership of our admin and our current future board members coming on, we have a lot of great things to look forward to. I think we're just on the precipice of starting some great things like, the early child care and things that we're working towards, and it's really an exciting time. And it's been my privilege to serve on this board. While not always a super great time, it was rarely a great time, but I learned more about our education system more than I ever thought I would, to echo what Kat said. And as a community, we should all be very proud of everyone that's involved with USD 420. That's it. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I move that we go into executive session to discuss confidential personnel matters pursuant to the non-elected personnel exception under COMA, and the open meeting will resume in the library at 8:50. The board invites Mr. Hessong to attend.
Second.
Parsons.
Aye.
Eppenstall.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Bowen.
Aye.
Linton.
Aye.
Bellinger.
Aye.
All right.
To vote it down.
Oh, boom. Very smart. All right, we are back in session. I move that we move forward with the recommendation of Darcy Keefe as the high school counselor for the 24-25 school year, an additional counselor. Lucas Boss is the head middle school girls track coach. The resignation of Richard Lamb as custodian, and extension of the principal contracts and extension of the superintendent contract.
Second.
Who seconded that?
I did.
Williams,
Aye.
Bellinger,
Aye.
Parsons, Linton,
Aye.
Heppenstall,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Bowen.
Aye. Kat, you get to do it.
Move to adjourn?
Dave,
Second.
second. Dave Williams got that second, not Tyler.
Bellinger, Bellinger,
Aye.
Linton,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Parsons, Bowen,
Aye.
Heppenstall,
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Bye, Dave. Travel safe. Thanks.
We'll get you your plaque.
Bye.
Where did you stay in Lubbock?
That was 3.
Oh, yeah, you just flew in. You weren't in Kansas